You and I, we've remembered times where we planned events, or we got involved with fundraisers, or we tried to get other students getting involved with something we started at lunchtime. It just doesn't always happen the way you plan it to.
This is the Student Leadership News Podcast.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Student Leadership News Podcast. We're joining you today from the beautiful beaches in Queensland, which is very exciting.
How good is this?
It's awesome. First podcast recorded at the beach, I believe. And we're so excited to have you with us from wherever you're listening. My name is Emily. You might know me from some previous episodes of the Student Leadership News Podcast. You'll also recognise Caleb over here, who's a familiar face too.
They invited me back. I can't believe they invited both of us back at the same time.
I know, our
this
first
should be fun.
podcast together. It's very exciting.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And like Emily said, we're at the beach. Lucky us. Maybe
Awesome.
you're kicking back on the beach somewhere in Australia, somewhere around the world as well, listening to this. Fantastic to have you join us no matter what. We've got a jam-packed podcast today, Emily. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a tour tale, we've got a best leadership tip, and we've got a fantastic idea that we're really excited to share with you. Our favourite leadership idea of the week. And we're going to finish with a fantastic piece of 1 minute wisdom from a recent
Yes, love
leadership
a 1
event.
minute wisdom.
It's going to be fantastic. But for now, we're going to kick things off with a tour tale, Emily.
Yes.
And I believe you have a tale that you're pretty keen to share with us. Let's do this thing.
Tour Tales.
Okay, so this tour tale, right? I was in Moree recently with a team, and we
I
were
was hanging out too.
You were
Don't forget,
you were
I was there.
Sorry, I'm sure you were there. And we were doing some student leadership events. And one thing that often happens with our team after student leadership events, and you know this, you're a big fan of this, is it's a very athletic team that comes on the road. They enjoy a good afternoon run.
A good yog.
Cool. A good jog, yeah. I participate in the jog. I appreciate the fitness
You love
element.
the yog, right?
I don't love it.
But
I do it because I should, not because I want to.
but you get through it well.
I do. Yeah, kind of. There's a little bit of walking involved, but we
That's
get
okay.
there.
But
We
hang
get
on,
there.
so you're
Anyway,
saying this happens
sidetrack.
regularly?
Yeah. Anyway, so we're in Moree.
Okay.
And it's after an event, and we decide to go for a run. Now, I'm like, cool, guys, I'm going to do 3Ks. See you later. I'm going to run 1.5Ks, and then I'll return.
Yeah,
Track it on
I
my
like
phone.
it. I like
now,
it.
it's my usual technique for running in a town that I'm not familiar with, because you don't want to get lost. It's like you just go in a direction for a certain amount of distance, and then you turn back around. Very simple, never had a problem. Now, the rest of the crew were going to go for 5 kilometers, and one of our friends, Cassie, she decided she wanted to go for a PB on her time.
Cassie wanted to do the fastest 5 kilometre that she's ever
Yeah.
done on this
Fastest
run. We were
5K.
like, okay,
Cool.
Random afternoon in Moree.
Yeah.
Go for it, Cassie.
But you guys were like, you're going to set the path, set the track, and
Yep.
she was kind of going to follow a little bit behind, but it would still be really fast.
Yes.
Awesome. Anyway, so we're running. I kind of see these guys. I'm a bit behind. I lose them. I go my 1.5Ks. I turn around. I come back. I'm sitting next to the car chilling out.
And we all know that you do 3Ks because you like to go back and have a cheeky muffin, right? You have a cheeky muffin and a coffee.
No.
Called out.
I was stretching. It's because I actually can't run 5Ks. Anyway, sidetrack. Essentially, the guys all come back to me a bit later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, where's Cass? And they're like, oh, we haven't seen her. And I saw her a little while ago. I was like, cool, she must be coming. We're sitting there for ages, and
Her PB time is
we're
gone.
like, there goes the PB.
Where is Cassie?
PB is long gone. Where is Cassie? And my phone starts ringing, and I'm like, oh, here we go. It says it's Cassie. And I'm like, hello. And she's like, help, I'm lost. And I go,
I'll be Cassie. Emily!
and I'm like, it's pretty hard to get lost. She's probably not actually lost. And I think that I can hear her actual voice as well as her voice on the phone. And I'm like, this is going to be
So
hilarious.
she's like within earshot.
Within earshot. And I'm like, where are you? She's like, I can see river. So I stand up from where we're stretching, right? And I walk over to where the riverbank is. And she's on the other side of the river. And I'm like, hey, Cassie, open your eyes. And I'm like waving at her, and she turns around. I'm like, I'm right here. And she cracked up. She had no idea that we were right there. And I sent her to go around the bridge. I was like, if you just keep running this way, you'll get back.
But it wasn't
back
that
on a
simple,
loop.
was it?
It wasn't that simple. And our friend Cam, you may know
You may
Cam.
know him from the Student Leadership News.
He's on
He
a
was
heap of episodes.
the hero on the day.
Hero of the day. Had to go and make sure that Cassie made it
He'd
back
already
safely.
run his 5K,
Yep.
but he ran another few Ks.
Clearly
Go
she had
rescue
no sense of
the damsel in
direction.
distress on the other side of the crocodile-infested river, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
And
Let's just
Cam,
dramatize it up a bit.
I like
anyway,
it.
that was the tour tale of
Nice
the week.
tour tale.
Cassie getting lost on the simplest 5-kilometre run of all time.
Maury.
And missing out on her PB.
Maury keeping it
Unfortunately.
interesting. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
work on that PB with
That's
Cassie.
okay.
And maybe we'll
That's
get you
a
a
tour
3K
tale for
PB
another
as
time.
well sometime soon.
Yeah.
And we'll get you up to the 5K mark. Or maybe I'll run
Hopefully.
3K and join you for the cheeky muffin and coffee that I know
Yes.
you have. Come on, let's do it.
Sounds good.
Hey, that was a tour tale.
Yes,
Can I tell you my best leadership tip?
definitely.
Let's do this thing.
BLT, Best Leadership Tip.
Okay, so Caleb, you're going to be sharing your best leadership tip with us. I'm excited. And I believe it has something to do with your outfit choice today.
I actually wore something very special for the podcast today.
Like I was questioning
I'm
it.
glad you noticed.
Fashionably. So
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Red and yellow? Digging it?
Yeah, looking great. Anyway, talk me through your fashion choice.
Okay, you'll notice I'm wearing a red shirt and I'm a redhead. Not
Yeah.
a great combination.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I wore this today, and there's a very special reason for this, right? This is
Uh-huh.
actually my Liverpool jersey.
Okay. You're a big fan.
I'm a
Liverpool.
massive Liverpool
I hear
fan.
about it all the
I don't know
time.
if we've got any listeners out there who love their football. I love watching soccer, specifically the English soccer. So the
Yes,
soccer that
you
happens
do.
in
It's
England,
true.
right? I tell you about this all the time. You're always like, I don't care, but I'll listen because you're a good friend. but nonetheless,
Sometimes I pretend.
you
to
were good
care.
this morning.
Yeah.
You pretended to care. The reason I wore this morning, and I was telling you this story earlier, is
Uh-huh.
because last night, the last round of games happened, right?
Okay.
And my team was coming second.
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Yes.
This team right here, right?
Right.
But Liverpool had to win, and we needed another team to lose if we were going to win the whole
Yes.
competition. Now, let me tell you this. We came second. We didn't win.
No.
But here's the amazing thing.
heartbreak.
Never before has a soccer team in the English competition
Yeah.
scored as many points and kept as many clean sheets, so conceded the less goals, 0 goals in a game.
Okay.
Then Liverpool has this season and comes second.
So you were the best team,
We-
actually, technically.
We're the best team that's ever come second. Unfortunately, there was one other team in this season that did one better. Manchester City fans out there, congratulations to you. I'm miserable, but you can have it.
Yep.
But I was thinking about this morning. I was
Okay.
trying to make the most of what was a pretty sad situation,
Yeah.
but I came up with the best leadership tip
What is
off
it?
the back of this.
I want to know.
My leadership tip, the best leadership tip off the back of this harsh experience that I'm still recovering from, is do your best and don't worry about the rest. Because you see, Liverpool played brilliantly this season.
Okay.
We had one of the most incredible seasons that you have ever seen. They played an incredible, they only lost one game this season.
Wow.
Get
Yeah,
that, right?
that's really well.
But we still didn't win. And that's the
No.
lesson you need to know as a student leader sometimes as well, isn't
Yeah.
it, Emily? Your best
Definitely.
intentions. I know you and I, we've remembered times where we planned events, or we got involved with fundraisers, or we tried to get other students getting involved with something we started at lunchtime. It just doesn't always happen the way you plan it to.
No.
But that's the tip. Do your best, so keep trying your best. But if
Uh-huh.
it doesn't work out for you, if you come second,
Yeah.
even though you played the best season of your life, or that student leadership event that you were trying to get started didn't quite work out, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's
Still
okay.
an excellent
Don't
result.
worry about that. Just keep trying your best.
You've done what you can. I love it.
Do your best, but don't worry about the rest. That is my best leadership tip.
We'll get right back to this episode, brought to you by Grip Leadership. Grip Leadership are the premier providers of student leadership conferences right across Australia and New Zealand. Not only do they inspire student leaders, but they also practically equip them with ways that they can go back to their schools and lead. These conferences are the best way to equip yourself or your student leaders with the tools that they need to make a difference during their time as student leaders. Grip Leadership are proud to run these conferences in over 80 locations across Australia and New Zealand. To find out more or find a conference near you, go to www.gripleadership.com. Now let's jump back into this exciting episode of the Student Leadership News podcast.
So, for anybody who's watching the podcast, you might notice that the beach is gone.
Things have changed a little
Things
bit.
have changed. We were at the beach. Now we're inside the office because it did start raining in the middle of us recording the podcast.
Yeah, a little bit rough. We got a few photos though on the way
It's
in, which
true.
we might be able to put out later on if
Pop
your
up on
if your
social
hair
media.
and my makeup didn't run too much while we were bailing inside. But nonetheless, we move on in this podcast. We found somewhere dry to keep moving on, and we're going to talk through an idea as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
My favorite leadership idea, or specifically this case, Emily and Caleb's favorite
leadership idea.
We talked about this a bit earlier on, and we absolutely loved this idea. he spoke about a young guy who is currently at a school in Victoria, Caulfield Grammar. His name is Max Beadle. Now, Max isn't actually from Victoria. He is from Broome in Western Australia.
Cool.
Some people might know
It's
it.
up north, hey.
That's correct,
You know
up
about
north
Broome?
in Western Australia. So what Max did was he was getting involved with a project at his new school in Victoria where he had to try and do something to help a community group. He had to do some sort of
that's a great idea.
leadership initiative or something like that.
Yep.
And so he thought, you know what? Back home in Broome, there's actually a lot of Indigenous communities there.
Yeah, nearby in that region.
Yeah, that love their footy. Like my new friends do in Victoria. This is what Max was thinking, right?
Yeah.
And he thought, but one of the big difference is all the guys that I play footy with here in Victoria have footy boots. They all have these fantastic coloured Nike, Adidas, you name the brand, they've got them. They have all these fantastic boots, right?
Yeah, but back home, hey, there were often players who would just be showing up in their regular runners or bare feet sometimes.
That's
even.
right. That's right. So there was these
Yeah.
communities, these Indigenous communities, obviously. They love their footy just as much, if not as much as anyone in Victoria. But they just didn't have the boots to be wearing to be playing the footy. They're playing in bare feet or old sneakers, Max was explaining when he was telling this story. But what Max decided to do was get together a few collection boxes and try and get people to donate their old boots so that he could take them back and hand them out to these.
Fly them up to Broome and give them out to people in
to these kids in these communities who would absolutely love having a pair of bright pink footy boots to play some footy in on the weekend. And
super exciting. Yeah, and I heard, right,
Yep.
he ended up collecting 222 pairs of footy boots to fly over to WA.
222.
Which is very significant and a big impact.
It's massive. You can check it out on the Student Leadership News
Yes, you
website,
can.
actually. There's an article about it. And you'll see this fantastic photo of Max arriving at the airport back in Broome. He's got
it's
boxes on
awesome.
boxes of footy
Trolleys
boots that he's
stacked
taken back. It's fantastic to look at.
So
but a great
cool.
leadership idea, a very simple idea.
Yeah.
Something that was available there. Everyone has a pair of footy boots, right? That they might not need anymore. And they're in perfect nick. They're still fine to play in. And so Max thought, you know what? I'm going to collect those and give them to someone who needs them more than we do. Perhaps there's something that student leaders elsewhere in Australia or wherever you're listening, perhaps in New Zealand, could think about that. An idea, so there's something right in front of you that you could use to make a difference for someone else.
Using that opportunity that's already there. Such a cool leadership idea. I am a big fan. Now we are going to move on to our next segment now, which is a 1 minute wisdom.
1 Minute Wisdom, direct from the National Young Leaders Day.
Okay, so today's 1 minute wisdom is from Akram Azimi. And he spoke recently at the National Young Leaders Day in Perth and had a heap of wisdom to share. But before we play it, Caleb, do you want to tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, this is an incredible man that we heard from at this student leadership event. You see, Akram Azimi actually arrived in Australia as a refugee from Afghanistan when he was very young, right? So he arrived in Australia, and obviously that's a tough situation to arrive in. A new home, perhaps he doesn't speak English that well. But this man's story is simply incredible. He went on to be, he scored top marks at his school for tertiary entrance exam. So he smashed his school. He became the head boy at his school. And since actually finishing up at school, he started multiple organisations and initiatives and been involved with the mentoring of Indigenous Australian students, right? So he's got involved in an incredible amount of great initiatives, and it was a pleasure to hear from Akram at this recent event, and he had a lot to say, but you're going to go to that in a moment. For now, it's actually goodbye from you and I for now.
Yep. It is. We've loved being here with you for this episode of the podcast, our first podcast together.
And hopefully we'll be back together again soon. It's been a lot of fun, and we look forward to hanging out with you guys soon. But for now, enjoy this 1 minute wisdom, and we will catch you next time.
See ya.
Leadership is a bit like a car, right? Sometimes it's really good, it can go really fast, it's really effective, it's really fuel efficient, right? But the car doesn't determine where you're going to be going. The destination is different from the car. We should judge our leaders not just by how well the car is made, how well they lead, but how good is the place that they're leading us to. How good is the place that they're leading us to? Because it's that destination that matters way more than the leader who's leading us there. So leadership is a means. It is not an end. Whenever you see a leader, before you say he or she is a good leader, ask yourself, is the place he or she is taking us worth going?
Thanks for listening to the Student Leadership News Podcast. Interact with us on social media and follow the news online at studentleadership.news.